Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to attempt to show you 5 ways how I went from £25 an hour, charging £25 an hour, to last year earning a £25,000 a year contract for 12 months, right? But it was one deal. And I'll do it in 5 minutes, right? So I've got an appointment coming up, so I've got to get it in time. Let's go. So, number one, and it's about knowing your worth. I remember when I was at £25 an hour, I talked to friends or relatives, and I remember meeting someone who had come from Pakistan and was working in a factory. And I was a teacher at the time and a tutor, and I was just, we're working out, we're just comparing pay as you do, right? And it worked out that basically when I worked out my annual salary or what I was getting in a month, he was basically making more, right? Or the same. And I thought to myself, and this is about knowing your worth. If you know that, look, you ought to be earning more than you are now. You ought to be getting more than £25 an hour or 30K a year, whatever it works out, right? So knowing your worth, sometimes just working out what your hourly rate is. I remember as a teacher, it would say, for example, 30K or 25K, whatever it was. And I remember, that should be an hourly rate of such and such. But then when I worked it out, actually how many extra hours I put in, I remember it was something like £10. I was like minimum wage. And so it's about knowing your worth. And I remember thinking, right, because of my education, because of all these years of training I've been through, I know I can earn more, right? And I didn't accept it, right? So that's the number one phase. It's not accepting it, right? Actually working out what your worth is, and looking around, talking to people, realizing, and I'm sure at least one or two people who you're smarter than, you're more accomplished than, that you can actually get better results than them, but they're earning more than you. So that's number one. Okay. Number two is ask those above you, right? If you see people who've got similar background to you, and yet they are higher up in terms of their earnings and things like that, just ask them. One of the best advice I ever got from one of my coaches was, if you see someone in your industry who's earning more than you, pay them for an hour of their time and ask them, right? And you'll be surprised. And I did this in tutoring. I remember I found someone who wasn't even a qualified teacher. I was charging £25 an hour. They were charging £100 an hour plus. And I just contacted him and I said, look, and I was just honest. I said, look, I'm just really impressed with you. Praise him. And I said, it's really impressive what you're doing. Could I pay you for an hour of time? I just want to work out, how did you give so much value that you can charge £100 an hour? I'd love to implement that in my own tutoring. And they'll help you, right? So that's, but pay them, show them that respect, pay them for an hour of their time. Don't just ask for free advice, okay? You can do that as well, but the best results is when you pay them, you get on and by the way, when I did this, I would do this not just to one, I did this to multiple people. Some of them would say, no, you don't need to pay me. And they would give me the advice as well, right? So that's number two. Number three is experiment, but experiment fast. If you get into business, or even if you want to trial different ways, side income, passive income, different ways to, different certifications to level up. If you're going to experiment to try to earn more money, especially in business, if you look at the greatest entrepreneurs in history, the greatest businessmen, you look at someone like J.K. Rowling comes to mind, right? Harry Potter, how many times did she keep submitting her work to publish? I think it was 12, 13 times before it was accepted. Imagine if she gave up. So it's not really failing, but it's like it's like experimenting. You might trial different ideas. You might try giving it to different consumers or people to check your work. You got to try things. Now you can either, with my clients, what I found, this is why as a productivity coach, productivity is so important. You can fail slowly over years and years and years. You just do like 3-4 experiments over 3 years, or you can get 3 experiments done in a month, right? So if you're going to fail, I trialed a tutoring agency. I tried online tutoring. I tried doing book clubs. I tried doing a homeschool academy. I tried doing courses. I tried coaching, charging hourly, and then finally I went into high ticket coaching, right? But I experimented fast. And number 4, I'm getting close to 5 minutes. 4, invest in coaching and programs, right? I invest around, on the last 5 years, around 10 to 20K a year into, find programs where they are helping people earn the money you want to, invest in them. That is the biggest shortcut to success. And finally, keep solving higher level problems, right? So, for example, even if you're a hairdresser, right? If you're a hairdresser and you keep leveling up, and I've even talked to hairdressers about this. I say, look, you see some of these hairdressers just old school, it's just the same thing and the same setup, and they never improve. or you can niche, or you can kind of do some offers, or you can try and offer a haircutting academy or create a course, right? There's always ways to level up and innovate, right? So you want to keep solving higher level problems. So you can either have the same solution, but you're offering it to more numbers, bring numbers in, or you can increase the quality of what you're doing and raise your prices. And by the way, that's why number 4 is so important. When you get a good coach, they will teach you how to give more value and justify raising your prices. Or you could solve the same problem but to a higher level person, right? So for example, you get someone, the hairdresser for the Sultan of Brunei charges thousands per hour, right? So that's what happened to me. I found a high net worth individual who really needed to work with me, and that's why they were more than willing to pay the 25k, right? So that's the 5 ways in which you can really raise your prices, or really get to that point where your income is going to really improve, inshallah. Okay, please tell me in the comments below, which of these 5 did you resonate with most, and more importantly, what are you going to try for your career and for your business. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.